Over 2 decades, police officer David Carrick abused and tortured women. A serial rapist.
New rules have been introduced that fundamentally change how serious police misconduct is handled in England and Wales. As of May 2025, there is a clear and powerful new expectation. Any police officer who is found guilty of gross misconduct will be dismissed from their job. This isn't a suggestion or a guideline. It is a firm presumption of dismissal. The only exception will be in truly exceptional circumstances, which will have to be robustly justified. This sends an unambiguous message that there is no place in our police forces for those who betray the public's trust in such a profound way. This change marks a significant turning point, a deliberate effort to raise the bar for police conduct and ensure accountability is swift and certain. The government has laid this new legislation in Parliament to make it crystal clear what the consequences of serious wrongdoing will be. It is designed to root out rogue individuals who have hidden within the ranks, causing untold damage to public confidence. The goal is to ensure that the officers serving our communities are only those of the highest caliber, whose integrity is beyond question. This is a crucial step towards rebuilding the faith that has been so badly shaken by recent events. The new framework is a direct response to a series of shocking and high-profile scandals that have horrified the nation. Cases like the horrific murder of Sarah Everard by a serving police officer.
As he is currently serving a whole life sentence for the kidnap, rape, and murder of Sarah Everard in March 2021.
And the sickening crimes of David Carrick, who used his position to commit multiple rapes, expose deep-seated problems.
Over 2 decades, police officer David Carrick abused and tortured women. A serial rapist hid behind his police uniform. He admitted to nearly 50 sex crimes. We now know David Carrick used his power to abuse at least 12 women. But there are now serious questions for the police as to how David Carrick, a serial rapist and abuser of women, was allowed to remain in the Metropolitan Police for more than 20 years. We know he was on their radar. In 2002, Carrick is accused of harassment and assault while in his 2-year probationary period, but no further action is taken. In 2009, Hertfordshire Police received a report of domestic abuse involving Carrick. Again, no charge is brought. And in 2016, Carrick is a suspect in a Hampshire police investigation following an allegation of harassment. He is not arrested, and the investigation is later closed. And in 2019, another complaint. Hertfordshire Police receive a report of Carrick assaulting a woman and causing criminal damage during a domestic incident. No further action is taken.
These events revealed that the system in place was not strong enough to remove dangerous individuals from policing. The reforms are therefore not just a bureaucratic update. They are a necessary and urgent overhaul designed to protect the public and ensure such devastating failures can never happen again. Before these vital new rules were put in place, the system for dealing with gross misconduct had serious and concerning flaws. There was simply no guarantee that an officer found to have committed a serious wrongdoing would actually lose their job. This created a loophole that allowed some individuals who had engaged in appalling behavior to remain in their posts, continuing to wear the uniform and interact with the public. This inconsistency sent a confusing and damaging message, suggesting that some forms of gross misconduct were somehow tolerable. It undermined the very idea of accountability and left the public rightly questioning the standards within policing. The numbers from the old system speak for themselves and highlight exactly why this change was so desperately needed. In the year leading up to these reforms, an astonishing 56 officers who were found guilty of gross misconduct were allowed to keep their jobs, while over 500 officers were rightly dismissed, or would have been, had they not resigned. The fact that dozens remained in post is deeply troubling. This wasn't a rare occurrence, but a systemic problem. It created a perception that policing was incapable of properly cleaning its own house, which only served to erode public trust further with each case that came to light. This previous lack of certainty meant that the outcome of a misconduct hearing could feel like a lottery depending on the specific panel or force involved. This inconsistency was not fair to the public, to victims, or to the vast majority of police officers who uphold their duties honourably. It allowed a culture to develop where the consequences for even the most serious breaches of trust were not guaranteed. The new rules are designed to end this ambiguity once and for all. By establishing a clear presumption of dismissal, the reforms ensure a consistent and robust approach across all police forces in England and Wales. The government has made it plain that this situation could not be allowed to continue. Policing Minister Dame Diana Johnson stated that the changes send a clear message that no matter where you are in the country, the officers serving on our streets are only of the highest standards. This is a direct acknowledgement of the failures of the past and a firm commitment to rectifying them. The new legislation is intended to be a powerful deterrent, signalling to any officer who might consider abusing their position that their career in policing will be over. It's about drawing a hard line in the sand. The introduction of these tougher rules has been widely welcomed by groups who work tirelessly to support victims of crime. Women's Aid, a leading charity that helps women and children experiencing domestic abuse, has called the reforms positive first steps. They have highlighted a critically important point. How can women feel safe reporting abuse to the police if they fear the officer they are speaking to could be a perpetrator themselves? For victims of violence against women and girls, trust in the police is not an abstract concept. It is a matter of life and death. These rules are essential for making them feel safer. This support is echoed by other key figures who understand the urgent need for change. The Victims Commissioner, Baroness Newlove, has described the new measures as a welcome and necessary step toward restoring public trust. She rightly points out that these changes are not just about punishing individuals, but about driving a much wider cultural shift within policing. The hope is that by making accountability absolute, it will help kick urgently needed cultural change into gear. It signals that the values of integrity, respect, and public protection must be at the core of everything the police do, without exception or compromise. The need for these reforms is underscored by the shocking reality that some officers have committed crimes of a sexual nature. In the year to March 2024, a record 593 police officers were dismissed and banned from the profession, a figure that had risen by more than 50% from the previous year. This included 74 officers who were dismissed specifically for sexual offences and misconduct. These statistics are a stark reminder of the scale of the problem and the importance of having a system that acts decisively to remove anyone who poses a threat, particularly to women and vulnerable people in our communities. The message from campaign groups, victims, advocates, and the government is united and clear. The standards for being a police officer must be non-negotiable. The public expects and deserves to know that every officer has been thoroughly vetted and is fit to wear the uniform. When officers are investigated for serious allegations, especially those involving violence against women and girls, there must be a robust process in place. The support for these reforms shows a broad consensus that strengthening accountability is the only way forward to rebuild the shattered confidence and ensure the police service is safe for everyone. The presumption of dismissal for gross misconduct is the headline change, but it is part of a much broader package of reforms designed to strengthen policing from top to bottom. For instance, certain serious criminal offences such as rape or grievous bodily harm will now automatically be treated as gross misconduct. This will streamline the process, allowing police forces to act much more quickly and decisively when an officer is accused of such a crime. It removes any doubt and ensures that the most serious offences are met with the most serious and immediate consequences, which is crucial for public safety. Furthermore, the new rules address the issue of officers trying to avoid accountability by resigning or retiring before a misconduct hearing can take place. Now, there will be a presumption of accelerated hearings for former officers, ensuring that they cannot simply walk away without facing judgment for their actions. Those who are dismissed will be placed on a UK-wide barred list, which will prevent them from ever being hired again by any police force or national law enforcement agency. This closes a dangerous loophole and ensures that a disgraced officer cannot simply move to another area and continue a career in law enforcement. These measures build on other recent changes, such as making valid vetting a legal requirement for all serving officers. This means that every officer must be able to pass background checks not just when they join, but throughout their career. If an officer fails these checks, they can now be dismissed. The process for managing officers who are consistently underperforming is also being streamlined to make it quicker and more effective. Together, these reforms create a comprehensive system of checks and balances aimed at ensuring only the best and most trustworthy individuals are able to serve as police officers. Ultimately, all these changes are about one thing: rebuilding and strengthening the public's trust in the police. When people believe that the system is fair, that wrongdoing will be punished, and that officers are being held to the highest possible standards, their confidence grows. This will make it easier for victims, especially women, to come forward and report crimes, knowing they will be taken seriously and treated with respect. A police force that is trusted by the community it serves is more effective, more respected, and better able to keep everyone safe. These new rules are a vital and long overdue step in that direction.